Section 14 of Bird Stories from Burrows by John Burroughs. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Anusha Iyer, Mumbai. Bird Stories from Burrows by John Burroughs. The bobolink. The bobolink has a secure place in literature, having been laureated by no less a poet than Bryant, and invested with a lasting human charm in the sunny page of Irving, and is the only one of our songsters, I believe, that the mockingbird cannot parody or imitate. He affords the most marked example of exuberant pride and a glad, rollicking holiday spirit that can be seen among our birds. Every note expresses complacency and glee. He is a beau of the first pattern, and, unlike any other bird of my acquaintance, pushes his gallantry to the point of wheeling gaily into the train of every female that comes along, even after the season of courtship is over and the matches are all settled. And when she leads him on too wild a chase, he turns lightly about and breaks out with a song that is precisely analogous to a burst of gay and self-satisfied laughter, as much as to say, "Ha, ha, ha! I must have my fun, Miss Silver Thimble, 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 if I break every heart in the meadow. See, see, see!" At the approach of the breeding season, the bobolink undergoes a complete change. His form changes, his color changes, his flight changes. From mottled brown or brindle, he becomes black and white, earning, in some localities, the shocking name of skunk bird. His small compact form becomes broad and conspicuous, and his ordinary flight is laid aside for a mincing, affected gait, in which he seems to use only the very tips of his wings. It is very noticeable what a contrast he presents to his mate at this season, not only in color but in manners, she being as shy and retiring as he is forward and hilarious. Indeed, she seems disagreeably serious and indisposed to any fun or jollity, scurrying away at his approach, and apparently annoyed at every endearing word and look. It is surprising that all this parade of plumage and tinkling of cymbals should be gone through with and persisted in to please a creature so coldly indifferent as she really seems to be. I know of no other songbird that expresses so much self-consciousness and vanity, and comes so near being an ornithological coxcomb. The redbird, the yellowbird, the indigo bird, the oriole, the cardinal grosbeak, and others, all birds of brilliant plumage and musical ability, seem quite unconscious of self, and neither by tone nor act challenge the admiration of the beholder. If I were a bird, in building my nest, I should follow the example of the bobolink, placing it in the midst of a broad meadow, where there was no spear of grass, or flower, or growth unlike another to mark its site. I judge that the bobolink escapes the dangers to which nesting birds are liable as few or no other birds do, unless the mowers come along at an earlier date than she has anticipated, that is, before July 1, or a skunk goes nosing through the grass, which is unusual. She is as safe as bird well can be in the great open of nature. She selects the most monotonous and uniform place she can find amid the daisies or the timothy and clover, and places her simple structure upon the ground in the midst of it. There is no concealment, except as the great conceals the little, as the desert conceals the pebble, as the myriad conceals the unit. You may find the nest once, if your course chances to lead you across it, and your eye is quick enough to note the silent brown bird as she darts swiftly away. But step 3 paces in the wrong direction, and your search will probably be fruitless. My friend and I found a nest by accident one day, and then lost it again 1 minute afterward. I moved away a few yards to be sure of the mother bird, charging my friend not to stir from his tracks. When I returned, he had moved 2 paces. He said he had really moved 4, and we spent a half-hour stooping over the daisies and the buttercups, looking for the lost clue. We grew desperate, and fairly felt the ground over with our hands, but without avail. I marked the spot with a bush, and came the next day, and, with the bush as a center, moved about it in slowly increasing circles, covering, I thought, nearly every inch of ground with my feet, and laying hold of it with all the visual power I could command, till my patience was exhausted, and I gave up, baffled. I began to doubt the ability of the parent birds themselves to find it, and so secreted myself and watched. After much delay, the male bird appeared with food in his beak, and, satisfying himself that the coast was clear, dropped into the grass which I had trodden down in my search. Fastening my eye upon a particular meadow lily, I walked straight to the spot, bent down, and gazed long and intently into the grass. Finally, my eye separated the nest and its young from its surroundings. My foot had barely missed them in my search, but by how much they had escaped my eye I could not tell. Probably not by distance at all, but simply by unrecognition. They were virtually invisible. The dark grey and yellowish-brown dry grass and stubble of the meadow bottom were exactly copied in the colour of the half-fledged young. More than that, they hugged the nest so closely and formed such a compact mass that though there were 5 of them, they preserved the unit of expression. No single head or form was defined. They were one, and that one was without shape or colour, and not separable, except by closest scrutiny, from the one of the meadow bottom. That nest prospered, as bobolinks' nests doubtless generally do, for, notwithstanding the enormous slaughter of the birds by southern sportsmen during their fall migrations, the bobolink appears to hold its own, and its music does not diminish in our northern meadows. The bobolink. Daisies, clover, buttercup, red-top, trefoil, meadowsweet, ecstatic pinions soaring up, then gliding down to grassy seat, sunshine, laughter, mad desires, May Day, June Day, lucid skies, all reckless moods that love inspires, the gladdest bird that sings and flies. Meadows, orchards, bending sprays, rushes, lilies, billowy wheat, song and frolic fill his days, a feathered rondeau all complete. Pink bloom, gold bloom, fleabane white, dewdrop, raindrop, cooling shade, bubbling throat and hovering flight, and jocund heart as air was made. End of section 14.